All right, welcome back to another edition of Real Riders Ride. I'm your host, The Spoiler. And if you ever wanted to know who was fighting for the rights of POWs and MIAs and veterans, but they do it on a motorcycle, it's Rolling Thunder.
And we're going to start with the Rolling Thunder mission statement, and that is as follows. The major function of Rolling Thunder Incorporated is to publicize the POW MIA issue, to educate the public that many American prisoners of war were left behind after all previous wars, and to help correct the past and to protect future veterans from being left behind should they become prisoners of war missing in action. We're also committed to helping American veterans from all wars.
Okay, with that, what we're going to have you do is introduce yourself. We're going to go left to right because it is military.
With that, I'm Mark Hermann, currently the president of Rolling Thunder Chapter 2 here in Milwaukee.
And I'm Willie Lee, vice president of Rolling Thunder Chapter 2 here in Milwaukee.
Tim Thompson, board of directors, Chapter 2, Wisconsin.
Lee McAndrew, treasurer, Chapter 2, Wisconsin.
Okay. How long you been riding?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me that question.
Just say many years.
Shortly after I got out of Vietnam, I'd say since 1969.
Branch of service.
United States Navy.
Okay, okay. What are you riding now?
I'm riding a 2012 Screaming Eagle
Oh, gotcha.
bagger.
Okay, and I've been riding for over 25 years. Right now I ride the Harley Ultra Classic.
Branch of service?
Army.
Army. Sir.
I ride a 2012 Bagger Deluxe.
Gotcha.
Been riding since, oh my goodness, 35 years. Since I've been
Branch of
about
service?
15. No service.
Oh, no, sir.
No
Okay.
service.
Gotcha.
I brought my first bike back from Vietnam in 1968. It was a Honda 450 CB, and learned how to, that was the first time I ever rode a bike, and I rode it around the pier in Long Beach, California in first gear because I didn't know how to shift. Brought my second bike, BSA 650 Lightning, back from Vietnam in '69, and in 1970 I bought my first Harley. Had a Harley Sportster. Ridden Harleys off and on ever since that time. Gave it up for 20 years to get married and raise kids like we all have. And now I'm back on the Harley. I own two of them. I have a Vietnam veteran tribute motorcycle that's been pretty well known around the city. And because my wife won't ride on two wheels anymore, I have a trike.
There you go. There you go. Branch of service?
The U.S. Navy.
USA Navy. Okay. So tell me, what is Rolling Thunders about?
Rolling Thunder is an organization that is really there to bring the public, make the public aware of our POWMI issues. Those that were imprisoned during time of war, and as important, if not more important, the missing in action that were never accounted for. Not a national level, and it is a national organization. We're just a chapter in that organization.
Okay.
But on the national level, they are constantly after our legislators, our congressmen, anybody that listened to us, to give us some satisfaction and closure on those MIAs. The families deserve it.
Sure.
And at this point, I mean, you can see by the gray on the side of the camera that our parents, for the most part, are gone. So those of us that served when we were in our teens and early 20s, our parents are no longer here. So we still believe it shouldn't just be done and over with,
Okay.
because there are brothers, sisters, family members that still would like to know.
Gotcha.
And that's what it's all about.
Okay. Now, what are some of the things that Rolling Thunder gets into as far as, you said you advocate with the legislators. Now, what are some of the other things that you do? I know there's a ride to DC every year. Right? Anybody want to touch on that?
I will briefly. Yeah, there's a ride every year. That ride has been going on from Milwaukee to DC continuously. I believe this is going to be, what, the 27th year?
24th year for
28th.
for the run to the wall, and 29th year for Rolling Thunder.
Okay.
Right.
But that runs from here, and they say to the wall, and just to clarify, that means the Vietnam Wall,
Okay,
the memorial wall in DC for fallen Vietnam veterans. And we roll there, we meet chapters from all over the nation, because they're everywhere. And they come together every year, that Memorial Weekend, which is Veterans Memorial Week, and they come together in DC and promote and make it known and just keep that flowing for the POWMIA issues.
furthering the cause.
Yep.
By bringing some advocacy to it in DC. The
Exactly.
place of all politics.
People have called it a parade. Those of us that ride in it know that it's a protest ride.
Gotcha.
It's exactly what it is, because we don't look at it as a parade. We're not there for ourselves.
Okay,
We're there for the POWMIAs.
sure.
And to prove my point on how it's treated, DC has a parade, a Veterans Day parade of some sorts on Memorial Day.
Okay,
We ride on Sunday, the day before Memorial Day. So it's a standalone ride. We gather at the Pentagon parking lot, which we have to pay for.
Oh, yeah.
Park there.
yeah.
In excess of $100,000.
Yeah.
But easily handled when you think about the few things that we may sell, pins, et cetera, patches. We can cover that cost because it's been, since we've been going, and I've only been going for about 8-9 years now, but it's been right at 750 to 1,000 or to 1 million bikes every year. That's an awful lot of vets
Oh,
and
yeah.
people that are
That's
concerned.
a whole lot of noise. That's a whole lot of noise.
The estimate this year was 1 million bikes, what they put out in the national newsletter.
Okay.
And I'd like to interject one other point here. This is not a military organization. Rolling Thunder is comprised of vets and not vets,
Got it.
basically supporters. It's open to anybody. You don't have to ride a motorcycle. It's open to anybody who feels they want to get in and support that issue. And I find that rather unique in that it is something that allows those non-military supporters
Sure.
to join,
Sure.
because like if you're in the American Legion, you can't join, and stuff like that. And a lot of the military groups that are out there are very specific to exactly that.
Okay.
So we've actually learned a lot from guys like Tim, who has his own specific reasons why he joined.
Right, and I was gonna get that, because it's more patriotic than it is anything, right? So for you, what kind of value are you getting it from?
The value I get out of it is the cause, the understanding of what the vets went through, because I never wore the uniform.
Gotcha.
Okay. I signed up. I had 2 brothers in already, so they wouldn't take me, and I was bullheaded. I wasn't gonna stay behind and be stateside, so I just said, no, I ain't gonna do it.
Okay.
Through all that, I ended up losing one of my brothers to Agent Orange. Once all that came out and I started doing research, and then I got involved with Rolling Thunder on a more of I heard about this ride, let's go to another buddy of mine. And once you do it, once you get the camaraderie, you're bit,
You're hooked.
okay?
You're hooked.
All 3 of these gentlemen I met through that, and what's grown out of this has been a deep, not just a friendship, but a relationship.
Sure.
Okay, and there's memories that I get. I can't walk in these gentlemen's shoes, but they drag me along. Okay, and they educate me.
Right.
They educate me.
It works
So-
both ways.
But it's something that once you do it, if you're open enough to understand what it's about, open your eyes and see what's going on, and then turn around and look at what you see on TV for the military sisters and brothers today that are coming home, missing arms, missing legs. That's the reason why you do it, for them,
Gotcha.
okay? Because the more and more that they come home, the less and less they receive back, be it through the citizens in the US or through our government, okay? That's where we come in. We go out to DC for the ride, for the protest. We also go out in November and we actually meet with, as Mark was saying, we actually meet with the congressmen and the senators, and we actually have bills on the floor currently that we need passed. So we go out and we solicit them to try to have them help author some of those bills. In Mark and Willie Lee's, Lee's case, Rolling Thunder helped pass a bill that's called Blue Water, Brown Water. Make sure these guys get their medical treatments. Making sure they were excluded up until, I think, 3-4 years ago. Now that whole law has been rewritten.
Gotcha.
Because of what Rolling Thunder does. So what I get out of it, I get the memories. And I get to watch the soldiers when they come home, like on the return flights from going back out. They visit the walls and that stuff from the Korean vets and Vietnam vets. We go out and welcome them back also.
And I think one of the things another thing is very unique, through all the wars that have been fought that Americans have been involved in, there's still some 80,000 unaccounted for. Some obviously lost at sea will never ever be accounted for.
Sure.
But just a year ago, last November, they repatriated the remains of a soldier who had been lost in Vietnam back to his family, and we as a chapter were part of that ceremony to go out there and provide the escort and stand there with our flags and everything else like that. And the soldier's mother was still alive, and to see the closure and the gratitude and the thankfulness in her face, basically was the over the top for me.
Priceless, right?
Absolutely.
Priceless.
Absolutely.
Actually, if you're looking for something for yourself in this, you're probably looking at joining the wrong organization, because these guys, I can't say enough how tireless they are and how many hours they put into helping others. And when I say helping others, I mean veterans, anybody connect with veterans, be it family or anything. I mean, they're constantly doing something. I mean, I'm proud to be a part of this group. And like I said, and it was said earlier, we met going to the wall with Pollock, and everybody in Milwaukee knows who Pollock is if you know anything about the wall. And we decided about 4 years ago that, maybe it's time that Milwaukee has its own chapter, because that was basically, it wasn't a organized ride or anything. It was people that knew people that got together and went.
Hooking up, right?
Right. So we then went to work, and Tim gets all the credit in the world, for me anyway, for actually putting the logistics together to get our paperwork right and make sure that we could be accepted as a chapter. It took 20 applications to even be recognized.
Gotcha.
But again, we hear it over and over and over again. Oh, Rolling Thunder, you're the guys on the motorcycles. Well, about 85 to 90% of us ride.
Sure.
But again, it's not an MC.
Right.
Right. It's an awareness group.
Okay.
Basically, and we just happen to be a bunch of us that are vets and a bunch of us that ride bikes. So it's a nice marriage.
Yeah, and we have met since this group started. We have had members who have met every honor flight that has come back here in Milwaukee, and I'm pretty sure Madison as well. So we kind of help close that loop, the World War II and the Korean ones, and meet these guys when they come back after off the plane, and the recognition that they so gravely deserve that they didn't get for the past 50, 60 years is absolutely another incredible thing to watch.
So what you guys got coming up?
Well, I'm getting ready to start the paperwork for the ride. The ride takes off in May.
Okay.
My paperwork starts December 1.
Come join us.
Coming around.
Yeah, it's coming around. It's a lot of work.
Coming around. Okay. Anything else you got coming up here?
USS Milwaukee, christening of that on November 21.
Okay.
Oh, it's been christened. This is commissioning.
Commissioning. You can tell I'm non-military.
Yeah, sorry, I did the same thing, and he corrected me, and I'm in the Navy. I was in the Navy.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah, the USS Milwaukee, we can delve more into this, but it's one of the new LCS, Littoral Combat Ship, built up here in Marinette, Wisconsin. It's the third USS Milwaukee, I believe. Not the four.
Their hull number is 5, so that'd be the 5th ship.
No, the number of
Oh,
US
how many
Milwaukees.
Milwaukees? 3 or 4?
I think it's 3.
I think it's 3.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sure it's 3. You know, in fact, I ran into, I mentioned it when I was down in Mobile, Alabama last week. It actually fought in the Confederate War.
Right.
The first USS Milwaukee did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so that brings it home. But anyways, that ship is being commissioned. We, you know, through, I'm not sure how we got involved. I think Mark had something to do with it. But we had a fundraiser.
Okay.
And we raised over $4,100 on a Saturday afternoon for the ship's morale, welfare, and recreation fund.
Okay.
And this fund, just to give you a little more history, let's say these guys are out in the middle of the ocean over there in Hawaii and there's an emergency back home. The captain can pull out of this fund to get the money to send this person back so they can be with their family. So this means an awful lot, because I think we all know, you know, all of us have been in service, we all know somebody who's probably had to take advantage of that at one time or another.
Oh, yeah.
The Navy won't say no to an emergency leave. If you
Nope.
got something going on in
Nope.
the family, they'll send you home, but they don't pay for you to go home.
Yeah.
And by us putting this money in this fund, those sailors aboard the Milwaukee know that it's there. If it's needed, they can get home because they got the money sitting there for
A
them.
little peace of mind. I mean,
Absolutely. I mean, it was our way of giving to them. And I'll tell you, speaking of that particular fundraiser, we did it out in Milwaukee. We gave them a motorcycle escort from downtown Milwaukee out to Milwaukee, about a 35-mile ride. And after it was all said and done, Commander Bridgewater, who was the CEO of the Milwaukee, and I had a few words later on that evening. He said, "I got to tell you, Mark," he said, "to a man, every one of my crew members and myself felt like royalty on that bus. We had never experienced anything like that. You
Yeah.
see that flying V in front of the bus, take them out. They just really ate that up. It was fun for us. We
yeah.
liked
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice summer day.
They came rolling in, and as they got off the bus, we gave them bands. You know, Mark made a point. He said, no sailor on that ship is going to buy a drink tonight. And we lived up to that promise.
They had a
Let me
good
tell you,
time.
in addition to the 4,000 we raised a significant amount of other. And when they came in, we gave them challenge coins that represents our chapter, so they have a little momentum to take with them. Tim did an excellent job. We had wristbands that commemorated, which I should have worn tonight, you know, the USS
Yeah, I
Milwaukee
forgot mine
Rolling
too.
Thunder wristbands that we did, so they had a little memento. And we told them, we said, guys and gals, we're gonna feed you, we're gonna give you booze, get you drunk, and number 3 is you're on your own.
Get to relax.
Well, we know what number 3 is. We all know what number 3 is.
For anybody in the Navy that's on active duty or the Navy Department that may see this, you know, there's a certain protocol. You're not supposed to be feeding these sailors booze, et cetera, et cetera. So we made sure that the bar we held it at, which was the station pub and grill, offered them, you know, they got something to eat, bag of chips and some pop, soft drink or water. But what Lee is talking about, all they had to do was walk back inside and they didn't have to pull their wallets out. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Well, let me put it this way, I've never met a sailor who turned down a drink yet.
No, you never know what's going to be your last one.
Right. Exactly.
Now jumping on something that I really think about when I look at Rolling Thunder and listening to these guys talk right now about something being free. People, even here in this city, they take for granted every day that they can get up and go out and go to work and come home and be with their family and this, that, and the other, and that's called freedom. Freedom, right? Freedom to move about your day, enjoy your life. But what they're missing is, and every veteran here knows, and even Tim, who was not in the military, he knows that freedom is not free.
Oh, no.
Someone is paying for that every day. Someone has paid for it,
Yep.
made the ultimate sacrifice, and there are those who will in the future make the ultimate sacrifice, and there are those who are paying for it every day. I realize that, so when I see veterans and when I see anything related to veterans, I take it to heart. I take it to heart.
Sure.
Because I know there are young men and women that would not reach the age that we are
Yeah.
because they made that ultimate sacrifice for someone here who takes this for granted every day, and it ticks me off. And I'm gonna stop talking about it because I'm gonna go in the wrong direction.
Right.
But it ticks me off that they take it for granted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, and Willie, he brings a good point. I just want to throw my 2 cents worth on here. Current day, you just saw this raid that just went on over there where they freed all those Afghan prisoners. And you saw that sergeant major that was killed in that skirmish. That man had a Bronze Star and 11 stars on it. That means he was awarded the Bronze Star for valor in combat 11 frickin' times. You know, and so he goes through this charmed life basically for the last 25, 30 years. One combat mission after another combat mission. All of a sudden, it's his last mission.
Well,
You know,
the first
and-
10 to leadership is
and that's-
self-service.
Yep, and that's to do what Willie Lee exactly said, so everybody here can go outside and walk,
Yeah.
you know?
And a lot of people just miss that. And they
Yeah.
take it for granted.
We are trying hard, and all these guys have agreed to it. We're trying to get younger members
Sure.
into the chapter.
But that was me.
We can't keep doing this, you know, forever.
Forever. Yeah.
And I know, just from talking to these kids aboard the Milwaukee right now, we had a great time with them. Really had plenty of time to talk one-on-one. And they're just outstanding young men and women today, because these are all kids that volunteered to go into the military to do just what Willie was talking about.
Magic word,
Keep our the ability for us to go to bed at night, close our eyes and feel comfortable.
Sure.
Because they're the ones that are on watch. Because every time we close our eyes and fall asleep, somebody's awake so that we can't sleep.
That is true.
So anything we can do for them, and by getting our chapter in Rolling Thunder involved with a active duty crew like this, to say, well, hey, you know what, these guys are all right. You know, and this is something I might want to do when I get out of the service.
Exactly.
And that's how we keep that word going that you're talking about, Willie, so people understand that,
So now,
what it's all about.
talking about membership, how do you become a member of Rolling Thunder?
Approach any one of us, or come to, we meet on the
Second
second Saturday of every month. Currently, we're meeting at Milwaukee Harley Davidson, right off of Silver Springs and Lover's Lane, in that area.
Yep.
It's upstairs. The meetings normally start at 10:30 in the morning on Saturday, usually done by noon. It's not long. All you gotta do is come in, sign the guest book. You're welcome to come into our meetings and listen to what's going on and make up your mind right there whether you want to join us or not.
Is there a fee involved?
There's a minimal fee. First time around, it's a $30 a year membership fee.
$15.
Oh, it's 30.
I'm sorry, you're right.
It's 30, it's $10. It's $10
Just straight on that.
Yeah, I'm the membership guy, so.
And what is it, $150 for the patches?
Well, the patches, there's several patches, and we all have our own patches. There's, after you've been there, you served your 90 days, basically a probationary thing and everything, you've met the meetings and minimum requirements, you get what's called your boot patch, okay? So that's representative of the chapter. So POW Chapter 2, Wisconsin, and everything else like that. You know, and you pay a $50 fee, which is refundable, all right? So it's not going on. And then after that, you know, a year, once you got a year in, then you're eligible now for the other patches that you see here. So you have the Rolling Thunder Rocker, you know, the eagle that signifies that, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and then we've now added the Afghanistan to represent those who have fought over in Afghanistan, Iraq, and those other nefarious places. And again, all the patches, you don't just come in and just say, here's my $150 and you get a patch.
Give me my
You
patch.
basically you gotta live up to what the Constitution says, that you will be a participating member, a contributing person, and everything else like that. We don't want, this isn't a hog chapter where you get a patch just for signing up. This is something that our expectation is you're gonna support this.
We expect every member to do what, three meetings a year?
Yeah.
3 million.
That's not very
minimum.
many when you think about it.
Right.
You take 3 times an hour and a half, I mean, what the heck? I mean, you can take 5 hours out of a year. But also, we have fundraisers, we have events, like I said, the honor flights, things like that. We expect them to do at least 3 of those.
Gotcha.
So I mean, that's the criteria. You go 12 months and you can't do 3 and 3, then basically your heart's not in it anyway, so. And we will reimburse you. You gotta turn the patches back in. You don't keep those for life. They come back.
Gotcha.
But we're still learning. I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, 4 years, we're still, really getting a firm grip on just exactly how to run this and do it right.
Okay,
We're coming along, but we're spread out too. I travel all the way from the Madison area to Milwaukee for this. And I don't mind now, especially because I just recently retired, but at the same time, it's still, I'm talking, I do, 90 miles and then 90 miles back home again every time I do anything in the Milwaukee area.
sure.
So, and believe me, we're not reimbursing anybody for travel time or anything here. It's all volunteer.
But
So
it keeps you busy in your retirement.
Absolutely. Tim and I have talked quite a bit about it. If we could get this thing up and really where we feel comfortable that it's solid, and it's there, it's getting close. We're thinking about, moving out into the Madison area and possibly seeing if there's anybody that's interested in that area.
Okay,
And we put a chapter together over there and then kind of marry up and be sister chapters and maybe hold some meetings in between Milwaukee and Madison per se, but
Well, 10% of our membership comes from Madison.
I know it does. And 5% of that was my family, for crying out loud. But no, we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't believe in it. I mean, Willie did the right thing by kicking this thing off and reading the mission statement. And he does that as vice president of the chapter. When we gavel the meeting to order, that's one of the first orders of business. He reads the mission statement to our members each and every time we meet. And as president of the chapter, I reiterate that we can never forget what this is all about. Okay? It is POW, MIA, and our vets. And don't forget that. All the other things that we do and all the nice fun things that we can get involved in, that's all well and good. But bottom line is, we're here for those people. We're not here for ourselves, we're here for them.
gotcha. Sounds like a winner, gentlemen. Is there anything else that you want the viewing public to know about Rolling Thunder?
The Rolling Thunder organization is 92 chapters nationwide. So they're all over the place.
Gotcha.
Whoever sees this other than in the Wisconsin area or something, go to the Rolling Thunder website, look it up, look for one in your area if you're interested. Because I guarantee you, if you're willing to come forward and live up to what's required, they're welcome to have you. And I'll tell you what, the more we can do for the veterans, past and present, the better off this nation's gonna be.
Amen.
Yep. Tim made a comment remark. Somebody made a comment before about they come from all over the nation. They come further than that.
Yeah.
We've seen them definitely from Canada, Australia. And people forget that the Vietnam conflict was actually fought by quite a few other supporters of the United States. Australia was there, and so to see somebody who flies from Australia 17 hours to come up here for that weekend.
And he brought his bike.
Right. It's just phenomenal.
Okay.
Yep.
And there is also one overseas in England that I have connection with.
Okay.
So we're all over.
Well,
we're all over.
like you said, people that are viewing this on YouTube, you want to see what that Pentagon parking lot looks like full of motorcycles. You just notice we got security on our vests here. We've got a group of us from Chapter 2 was asked by National to be part of their security team. Well, Willie and I and Tim were doing parking lot duty so we can get them all in, and we actually worked the annex one year because there wasn't enough room in the parking lot for all the bikes. And we filled those up.
Yeah, four parking lots full. It was like
You should be able to find that on YouTube.
One-
Oh, yeah, I bet you there's
Yeah.
some footage of it on YouTube, and what I'll do is I'll link some of that footage to what we're doing here so that the viewing public can be able to click on that.
There you go.
And catch some of the other
Oh,
videos.
yeah.
Good idea.
Yep.
If anybody's interested in getting a hold of us, they can go to our website, which is rollingthunderwisconsin2.org. And in there, our email addresses are on there. They can click on any one if they have any questions or comments or something. It'll come directly to us.
Yeah, I'll put that in the description too
Yeah.
of the video, so that way
Perfect.
they'll be able to go right to it.
We'll make sure to give you one of our cards because everything that Tim just said is right on the card.
That'll work.
Okay.
That will work. Okay. Anything else, gentlemen?
One thing I'd like to bring up.
Sure.
The one thing that I've noticed through going out to DC, I think this will be my 4th time going out, is the president of the organization or the founder of the organization, one of the big things that Rolling Thunder has is when we talk about volunteer and nonprofit and fundraising. 2 years ago I was out and the founder stood up at the front, and we've got 300, 400 people in this audience just for this conference.
Okay.
And he started screaming. He was upset. He had $5,000 left in that bank account that he had to get rid of to make us 98%. Now, there's not many organizations that can brag about that,
Right.
but we do.
Right.
We do. We'd rather be broke
Right.
than dirty rich.
Yeah.
So that's their motto. That's what they live up to. So,
It's an important deal. It's
Yeah.
an important deal. Well, if you want to know about Rolling Thunder, here you have it. This closes out another segment of Real Riders Ride. I'm your host, The Spoiler, and Rolling Thunder thanks you, and I do too. I will see you on the road.